Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Nikki. If you are new here, I'm a homeschool mom who has 6 kiddos. Yes, 6. I still cannot believe it. We've been homeschooling for a really long time, and on this channel I share everything from what we're cooking to what we're doing to daily vlogs to homeschool stuff. So if you are interested in that kind of thing, go ahead and subscribe to our channel and give today's video a thumbs up and stay around to see what fun stuff we get into over here. Okay, so today's video is one that I am excited about. So I have mentioned in previous videos on this channel recently that I am leaning more towards the unschooling, hands-on, fun school. Maybe fun school is the word we should use for this year. Instead of just you're boring, spiral bound, we're gonna get all the things done all the time. I can't do that anymore. And I just felt really that the Lord was telling me to go in a different direction. And just because my oldest was in 8th grade now, I felt like I had some sort of pressure on me to do all this stuff, when the reality is he's still 13. He still wants to, I'm homeschooling him to give him his childhood, the gift of his childhood. So why am I adding all this stuff and doing all this stuff? Of course we're going to work through, language arts curriculum, and of course we're going to have him in math. But we're not going to do it every day, and it's not going to be as structured as it was. And I was trying to figure out how I could pull in hands-on activities to make his and all of my kids' learning fun for this year. So I have fell into the rabbit hole of book studies and interactive notebooks. And let me tell you, this was our first one that we did this year, and we did a major deep dive. And so if you are interested in how I took one book, the title of it is Andy and the Circus, and made it cover so many things and then brought it in, into life. Brought it to life by, visiting a circus museum and creating different art projects. And we did history and science. And if you're interested in any of that and what I did to make this fun for 8th grade all the way down to preschool, you're going to want to watch today's video. So stay around and just see what we did. So like I shared, we took one book, Andy and the Circus. This is a really, really sweet little book. It is, the stories in it are longer, as you can see, but it is very wholesome and very meaningful. I did not know this at the time, but a lot of these books are coming from the 5 in a Row curriculum, which I now have purchased, and I will talk more on this later. But I follow some fabulous moms on Instagram. So if you're not following me over there, I share them all the time. And one of them in particular has an 8th grader, and she was creating these interactive notebooks at the end of last year is kind of when I found her account. And I was like, man, that's really fun and different, And so she actually creates these packets herself. Her name, I believe, is Kaylin. It's Kaylin something. I should know this. I'm so sorry. I will have this in the details below. So if you're interested, you can purchase it. But I bought a pack of 4 of her book studies, book companions. I can't remember what she calls them, from her. And they are phenomenal, okay? They are so good, you guys. So the first one obviously is Andy and the Circus. So I have them in these notebooks here. And I will flip it around and show you what I have in the beginning of the notebook and what that looks like in a minute. But let me just kind of give you an overview of what all we covered. And even the other day, my 13-year-old, I was prepping our next book study, which it'll be in a video coming out soon. But even my 13-year-old walked by and he's like, Mom, I really like these. I feel like I'm learning so much more than I did even having a curriculum. And it's true, because it's hands-on, it's interactive. You're not having to take a test. You're genuinely learning the information in a fun way. And so for him to say that, because he's super athletic, outdoorsy, fishing, all the things, football, baseball. So for him to come to me and say something like this, I know it's working, right? So what we did is I bought her, okay, sorry about that. So what I was saying is I bought her book study packet, and it is very self-explanatory what to do. So we, the first page, we printed this, and everything is like a print and put together. So I'm going to tell you all of the things that we covered, and then I will flip it around at the end and show you the notebook. I think that would be the easiest way to do that. So we read the book, and I had this like whole fun circus theme set up. I had the book and animal crackers, but like the ones that were in the Barnum, you know what I'm talking about, the Barnum packets, and just fun little like animal, like circus themed critters sitting out. I think I have a video. I may try to throw that in if I do. But in this, we learned story elements. So like the characters, the setting, the problem, the solution, that type of thing. They had their story details, character comparisons, the similarities and differences of the characters, summarizing fiction, so we brought that into life. They had idioms, and she had a whole little fun game for that in her packet. I'll show you that in a minute. They learned the history in this was the Industrial Revolution, and this was one of the things that we did a deep dive into. So we did the Industrial Revolution. She had like a vocabulary for that. Inventions then and now, who was Henry Ford, who was P.T. Barnum, and who was Annie Londonderry. And so from that too, she had you create an art project, which was a circus poster, which is right here. This is my oldest, his circus poster. And he got his inspiration actually from the Ringling Museum. I'll talk more about that in a second. And what else? There was a science experiment with a watermelon in it, and it's just all very self-explanatory. So let me show you, I'm going to flip it around and show you the notebooks first. And then after I show you the actual book study, I'm going to show you how you can take it and do a deeper dive and kind of bring everything to life. Okay, so this is the front of their notebooks, and I printed this from a person off of Teachers Pay Teachers as well. And so this is kind of the things that I wanted them to touch on in their book studies this year. So we've got characters, and it gives you like all these different character traits with, different vocabulary that you might not use versus just like kind, good, bad, that kind of thing. So describing the character lists and traits and feelings, describe the story settings, kind of the same thing. Understanding story settings. And then we've got understanding the plot and story events, the conflicts. Same thing over here, goes into detail. Identifying the point of view, understanding the point of view, the common topics and themes here. Same thing, summarizing the fiction here. So that is what that looks like. And then from Kaylin, we did a few of these last year, so I just had them reuse some of their notebooks for this. She also has these in her Teachers Pay Teachers shops where you put the cover of the book, which I have not yet done. So it would be Andy and the Circus, and then I'm going to have them go in and fill out these little things. So that's in the front of this year's notebook. Okay, so here's the front page. So we've got our title, and then here's the story elements. Let me show you my older child who has a little bit more writing. So we've got story elements, we've got characters, problem, and then the solution for that. Okay, then we flip it over, and we've got the story details, and you see how everything is just interactive, like meaning like it's something they have to do. Like we're not just writing and filling in the blanks. It's these fun lift the flaps, character comparisons here. Summarizing fiction, and she has a whole sheet. So she gives you, in her packet, it is included like, let me see, where's the sheet on that? Okay, so when you print the book study guide, this is what it looks like, and she gives you the exact layout. Like she shows you exactly how to do it, and also her Instagram page is a phenomenal resource for this. So she gives you the layout. So we've got here, we've got the cover, and then we've got the story elements here, the characters, the problem, the solution, that kind of thing here. And over here, for the story details, she gives you information on it. Like everything is broken down exactly how it is here in the book. So we've got the story details with lift the flaps. It's just a fun way to bring a book to life. Character comparisons. You're comparing Joe and Andy, and then their similarities. Then summarizing fiction is over here as well. And she has a whole sheet on that, and it teaches you, you know, the SWBST, somebody wanted but so then method. And so it's real self-explanatory. Everything is just so well done, and it just brings it to life. And then we've got a whole sheet on idioms and how to teach that with a fun little game, you know, hit the nail on the head, and then they have to figure out which one it matches up with. So that was a fun little thing that they liked doing. Then the history mini unit study is the Industrial Revolution. So all these little flaps on it. And then this was fun, the vocabulary that pops up like that. I love it. I just love these things. Inventions then and now. And then you flip the page, and then we've got the whole who was Henry Ford, who was P.T. Barnum, who was Annie Londonderry. And then with that, she has the additional biographies, and then this is where you're pulling all of your information for that from. Same thing with the Industrial Revolution. She created a whole mini unit, the Industrial Revolution, like with a book and everything for you to read with pictures for them. And this is her name, Kaylin Morrell. So find her on Teachers Pay Teachers and on Instagram. She's a great resource to have. But yeah, it was just chocked full of information. And then along with that, she gave you some additional things. So I gave them the choice of writing a persuasive letter or creating the circus poster. And so they all chose to create the circus poster. And then here's the science with the watermelon that they did. So I'm actually going to have them, I'm going to frame this one just because it's got some meaning to us. This particular one does. So I'm going to frame this, but the other two are going to have theirs in their notebooks to finish out this unit. So let me flip the camera back around and show you some other things that we did. Okay, so as you can see, just her book study alone is enough to just grab the pack and go, right? It is really well done. I mean, there's so much about the story, language, arts aspects in there, and then you've got autobiographies in there. You've got history, the Industrial Revolution in itself. My kids learned so much from that little book that she did and the way that she's got it laid out in this, and then the science with the watermelon. So you really didn't need to do anything else. But I wanted to take these books and do like deeper dives into them and kind of chase the spark, so to speak. So see what my kids were super interested in and then follow their lead on that. And that's exactly what we did. Okay, so from there, on our own, we did the Who Was P.T. Barnum book. And I love the Who Was books. They're just a fun, short way to like pack some history and some in a fun way in with them. And so for all of our history this year, we are doing the Who Was or What Was It. And so my son actually drew this sheet for us. And so it's got the bio, facts, what he's famous for, facts, quotes, hardships and struggles, and then it's got the P.T. Barnum. I love this. So we're going to have a whole history notebook, which is something I'll talk about in a later video. So this is going in our history notebook. So we brought that to life in that way. And then we also did, let me find it. This is another, like you can see how much information they wrote. I mean, they just filled this up. Okay, and so then these I also found on Teachers Pay Teachers from a different person. I'll have to tag them. But we did a documentary on the Industrial Revolution. And so that's a fun way for them to earn screen time this year during the week, because we don't normally allow it Monday through Friday. But it's like a little brochure packet from your whatever documentary I choose for them to watch. So they did the Industrial Revolution. And so this is actually going to go in the history folder as well. So they'll have a Who Was and their documentary packet. And then we went to the Ringling Museum in Sarasota, Florida. Let me tell you, if you ever have the opportunity to go. It is phenomenal. But in the Ringling, they have the Circus Museum. And on the top floor, I'll see if I have any clips that I can add. On the top floor, they had a whole section on like P.T. Barnum, the Barnum and Bailey Brothers Museum. Y'all, it is incredible. If you don't have the opportunity to go, look it up and do like a virtual tour on YouTube. there was this guy, I cannot remember his name, but he spent 50 years creating like a real life circus from like back in the day. And like you walk through and you look at all of what the circus used to look like back then in this time frame, you know, because that's what the whole book is on, is around the time of the Industrial Revolution. So it's got that in it, and then it's got costumes and interactive stuff, and oh my goodness, it was so good. So I highly recommend that. So we did that, and then with our friends last Friday night to kind of like conclude all of this, we did dinner and we watched The Greatest Showman, of course. I mean, and I didn't realize, okay, so I'm not like this huge movie person, just a little information about me. I did not realize, all that to say, I'm sorry, The Greatest Showman is one of my favorite movies ever. But obviously we've never studied like P.T. Barnum or any of the circus type stuff. The movie follows his storyline pretty closely, pretty correct. It's pretty accurate. So that was just so fun to like bring all that to life in that way. And you can just keep on going, you know, like for my little kids, like I printed out circus coloring sheets and things for them. And I mean, they just love it. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm looking at history and science from a whole new perspective. It doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be from a book. You can bring it to life with stuff like this and go into museums and watching documentaries. And I don't know, 10 out of 10, Kaylin Morrell, get her book study and give it a try. From here, since my 5 in the row just came in, the way that this kind of curriculum works is you read the same book 5 days in a row, which we won't do it because we've already read it several times for this particular book. But it has like social studies, so relationships, family, and friends. And I will do most of this with my younger crowd. So it has like social studies, language arts, art in it, methods for like clouds, circus trains. For math, it's like counting, savings, and salaries. Science is balancing, and frogs and tadpoles. It's just got so much in this little book that I'm going to take like one day instead of doing it 5 days, because we've done so much with this book already. I'm just going to take one day and kind of go over this. But I know the other books from her packet that I bought, I know ones like The Bee Tree and Henry and the Castaway, all those are from in here too, so we will start out doing that. The next book that we are doing from her packet is The Bee Tree, and I'm doing it with a friend, so we'll have like her interactive notebook, and then we're going to a bee farm to bring that to life. So I'm so excited. So if you like today's video and you want to see more of how I'm bringing like history and science and book studies to life, language arts to life this year, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and tell me what you want to see next. This has been so much fun making these for you guys, and I hope it's a blessing like it was to me.